It's been a hot minute since I've made a video. Let's jump into talking a little bit about why, and I'll try to jump in and give you some narrative stuff for my campaign as like an apology for it being so long since I've made a video. Hey everybody, it's Nick. I don't have a script, so I'm sort of free-flowing today. That's why I might sound a little different than normal, but I hope I don't ramble too much. We'll find out. Anyways, it's been a little bit since I've made a video, like a month or something, so definitely too long. Apologies for that. But I haven't really had anything to say. In addition to rebuilding my gaming computer and traveling a bunch, I haven't really had a lot that I wanted to talk about in terms of D&D related content. I haven't been running since May, and I'm not going to run until the end of this month or early next month, and so I've been sort of in campaign planning and prep mode, but I don't have lots of like, hey, I have an idea I really want to share with people, and I've got lots of concept stuff for the campaign worked out and various things like that, but I don't want to share stuff that's too far down the road in case things change and people get disappointed because they didn't get to see that cool thing that Nick had said he was planning to do. Well, sometimes games go in different directions than you think they're going to go. So I haven't really shared all the things that have been going on just because I haven't really known what to say about it. But I wanted to let you know I'm still here, I'm still around. If time permits, I would love to keep doing campaign diaries and session recaps for this coming semester. No promises, just because of work things and time outside of gaming. I may or may not have the time to make these videos, and maybe they'll be a little different if I do make them. Maybe I won't have a script, I'll just freestyle, I don't know. But I want to let you know some stuff that I am planning for this campaign coming up. So sort of how I do campaign planning and prep is I get a big picture concept of like, this is the types of things they'll be doing, and then I drill down onto like lore and the surrounding area where they're at, what's the culture like of the nation they'll be in, who are important movers and shakers, if there are any villains that I want to pre-prepare, what are they about, and what are they trying to do. I also I drill down really deeply on the first session. What's the first session going to be like? Because that sets the tone, gets the whole group together, and they have a feel for what they're going to be doing. And then I also try to figure out some like big picture, way off in the future things that might happen. But I don't really have much in the middle, so all of that stuff sort of happens on a week-to-week basis as I'm planning and preparing. But one of the things I want to do is share with you some of my first session plans and what I'm planning on doing. So the big picture concept of the first session, the first little adventure that they'll be doing is the whole group has been selected as part of a Special Forces, Special Operators team to work for Emperor Ares as he continues his conquest across the continent of Antar. And so they'll be brand new to this team, and they'll be being evaluated by a much more experienced Special Forces team who doesn't like them that much. So we'll have this sort of rivalry that may come out of these two teams, and they'll have to do sort of a training house. So think of like a mount house, I think that's what they're called, from various Special Forces training situations where you have to go room by room and clear through, and it'll just be that. And ideally this will serve several functions. One, it will be a training ground situation for their characters, but two, it'll be a training ground for the players. Many of these players are new to D&D or new to my table, and so to give them a chance to, in a relatively low pressure situation, figure out how combat works and how their characters function and what kind of spells they should be using, that sort of a thing. Just to sort of get things started. I like to start with a fight very early in most of my campaigns. One, because it's interesting, it's dramatic, it gets players used to combat, but two, players have been looking at their character sheet for weeks and sometimes months, and all that's on your character sheet are stats, damage, spells, features, and abilities, and you use all those in combat. So it's a great chance for them to get to show off their cool abilities and stuff like that. So that's some of the reason why I run combat very early in a first session. After this session, they'll get handed off to their handler, who will give them their first mission assignment, and then they'll be free to go and start that first mission. And it'll be very interesting to see how they want to tackle it. They will be sent to the city of Bolero, and basically they'll be told, hey, the army is gonna end up at Bolero in a couple of weeks. It's up to you to try to make that city-state surrender before we even get there. And so do it however you want. Offer a deal to the governor, or assassinate the governor and put somebody else in power, or start a whisper campaign, or whatever you want to do. It's up to you. So it's very sandbox in that way. You can solve this problem however you want to, but you have to specifically solve this problem. Deal with the problem of Bolero, get them to surrender. So what I'm going to start off the very beginning of the campaign with is a narrative scene. I'm just going to act out a scene between two people in Bolero and have them have a chance to sort of role play off of each other, and the idea being, what is it like, the middle of this war, what's it like for a normal person? These two people who are having an argument about Emperor Ares and his conquest, what's it like for the average layperson who is just examining the situation and is affected by it on a personal level? What are the central tension between, is this Ares dude a good guy, or is he evil? And let's look at that and bring it up a little bit more. So I wanted to write sort of a dialogue scene to have that be presented dramatically in front of the players as how people think about this issue. So that's what I have done, and I would love to have that scene memorized and acted out dramatically for you right now, but I don't. So I'm gonna like read it off, and I'll do voices and stuff. Oh gosh, they're gonna find out how good I am at voices. There's nobody over there. It was a joke. But yeah, I'm going to read it out and sort of act it out for you, how I would do it in front of my players for the very first session. So you'll get to see how I'm going to narratively and dramatically open up a brand new campaign, which is something not a lot of DMs get to do very often, and so I like to sort of say, hey, this is how I start off a campaign every time I get to, because it's not that common of a thing. You only have a first session once every campaign. You have 5th sessions once every campaign, I guess if they get to 5 sessions. Sometimes they peter out before then. But first sessions are a little bit different in how they function, feel, and flow, and other F words, but not that one. So that's sort of what we're going to do now. I feel like I'm done rambling. Let's do the scene. Our story begins in an age of conquest. One conquest in particular. Emperor Ares of the Goliath nation of Ocrin has begun a campaign to place all of Antar under one banner. His moves have caught his opponents off guard entirely. Sure, Ocrin has always been militaristic, but they have always had enough trouble with the monsters within their own borders to keep themselves occupied. So when the tidal wave of Ocrin's military crashed against the relatively peaceful Delnor, the halfling and gnomish nation fell in a matter of weeks, and with relatively little bloodshed. The orcish horse lords of Granache followed soon after. Now Emperor Ares has his eyes set on the nation of Krell, a small but fierce people whose personal freedom is held very near and dear to their hearts. Sitting in a tavern in Bolero, a mining city in Krell, a man is tending his drink and defending his position. I'm just saying, what drives a person to invade another country? What's this so-called Emperor Ares think he's doing, eh? It's just like Renora trying to subjugate us all over again. We'll push back Ares just like we pushed back those blasted northerners. This is different and you know it, comes the reply from a tall white dragonborn sitting opposite him. Ares conquered Delnor in just 2 weeks, a fortnight. We can't stop him. So you think we should just surrender, is that it? We should just roll over and hope he spares us? I'm saying I'd rather take my chances with surrender than surely die defending the queen. An emperor, a queen, what difference does it make to us common folk? Nah, I'd rather die a free man defending my home than live as a slave to those mountain walkers. He's treated the Delnorians and the Granashites with fairness after his conquest of them. Maybe he's not such a bad guy. Surely Ares wouldn't have any issue with us continuing our ways of life here while he rules. Not such a bad guy. He's starting wars, he's killing folks, he's fundamentally evil, no argument. Before the Dragonborn can respond, a cloaked figure 2 tables away chimes in. Her clothing marks her as a traveler, and her weapons mark her as someone who knows how to take care of herself. It's not about good and evil, don't you two get it? It's us versus them. Ares is coming. His armies will be at our gates in mere days. The why of it doesn't matter, the morality of it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, what are you going to do about it? As she finishes her sentence, a frantic halfling bursts into the tavern. He's here! His armies are spotted coming over the mountain. Ares is here. Every able-bodied man and woman are summoned to the walls. Grab a weapon, defend our homes. Traveler looks back at the man and Dragonborn who sit in stunned silence. Like I said, What are you going to do about it? She then calmly finishes her drinks, picks up her weapons, and heads towards the walls. So that's my little narrative intro. Apologies for any accents dipping in and out. I haven't practiced it many times, and I'll do it a little better by the time I get to actually do it with my players, but we're DMs, people like doing accents, quit judging me. You can't do them any better than I can. Well, I mean, maybe you can, I don't know. Who am I to judge? Maybe you can do them great, I don't know. Anyways, back on topic. That is sort of the setup for the campaign, the primary central tension there being it's not really about good and evil anymore, it's about what are you going to do about it, and what do you think about what's happening in this situation. Here's this tiny little plot twist. The players will be sent to Bolero several weeks before Ares' army gets there. However, that narrative scene takes place right as he gets there, meaning the players are starting sort of before that scene takes place. They will have their actions and do whatever they do before that scene takes place. And then, fast forward in time a little bit, Ares' army will get there, and then maybe there'll be a battle because the players failed, or maybe the gates will be thrown open because the players succeeded somehow. That is sort of the sort of little Tarantino-esque move that I'm doing with that narrative intro, and so just a cool little trick I wanted to try. But that is sort of all I've got right now for y'all. I wanted to let you know what I've been up to, why I haven't made any videos, and then I feel bad because I haven't made any videos, so I'm sharing something with you now. Hopefully this was interesting, enjoyable, or terrible, but it gave you reasons to not like it and desperately want to do something very different than what I just did. That's fine. That's sort of the point of this channel, right? Is so that you can find things that you think are cool and steal them, or see mistakes that I have made and go, I'm definitely never doing that. Whatever makes sense to you, whatever you want to rip off, that's totally fine. That's what we're all here for. But I am going to go ahead and leave us there. Thank you all for watching, and I don't know when the next time will be, but I'll see you next time. Hey everybody, it's Nick. Don't have a script, I'm just sort of freeballing it today. That's the wrong word.